Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's look at this metric conversion. Yesterday, or actually 2 days ago, we did a lesson on multiplying and dividing by powers of 10, 100, 1,000. We didn't go any higher than that. The powers of 10 are positive powers of 10, or are numbers, well, whole numbers of 10 are 10, 100, 1,000. You can also do 1, 1/10, 100, and 1,000. Now when we did that, we didn't do all the multiplication now, we just moved the decimal point. And the reason I did that yesterday, or the day before, whichever day it was because we're going to get to this. And we talked about moving the decimal point, either left or right. Our measurement, we've talked about going from bigger to smaller is multiply, smaller to bigger is divide. So we're going to work a couple examples out here. Let's take 100 centimeters equals blank. We'll start easy. Millimeters. 100 centimeters equals blank millimeters. So if we go over here and we see that 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. So are we going from bigger to smaller or smaller to bigger?
Smaller.
We know our centimeters. Which one's bigger, centimeters or millimeters?
Bigger than smaller.
Well, 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. So if it takes 10 of these to equal one of these, which one's bigger?
Centimeters.
Centimeters are bigger, because it takes 10 millimeters to equal one of those. So we're going from bigger to smaller. Bigger to smaller. Now, that means we're going to multiply. But I have to have my decimal point written down, or my life is going to be so much more difficult. So I have the number 100. Addison, where is the decimal point in the number 100? What place value is the 1 in? This 0? Good. This 0. The 1s. The decimal point is always behind the 1s place. Decimal point is always behind the 1s place. And I know that since 1 centimeter, I can go back and look at my formula chart, and this is all the information on the formula chart. I can have 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. So that tells me I'm going to multiply by 10. So I've got 100 multiplied by 10. Here's my decimal point. Am I going to move my decimal point to the left or the right? Am I making the number bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
Bigger, which means I have to move it to the
Right.
right. How many places am I going to move it to the right? Once, because I'm multiplying just by 10. So I have the number 100. I need to move it over to the right, the decimal point over to the right, which means I have to add a 0. And I can put that decimal point in, or it'll probably not be shown, because usually with whole numbers, they don't show the decimal point. So 100 centimeters equals 1,000 millimeters. Now, what you would have done before is you would end up having to do all the multiplication. You get all these zeros. It'd be all confusing. And nobody wants confusing. So multiplying and dividing by tens, hundreds, thousands makes it really easy. Let's look at 24. Let's do it this way. 24 and 6/100ths, and we'll go milliliters equals how many liters? Look at that. We look at our formula chart. 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. So which is bigger, liters or milliliters? Liters. Which one do we know? Milliliters or liters?
Milliliters.
Milliliters. So we know the smaller, and we're going to the bigger. So that tells me we're going to divide. So we're going to divide this number. Now we have to go back to our formula chart information. We have liters and milliliters. And my number in here is 1,000. So I'm going to multiply this by 1,000. So if I'm dividing. So I need to make this number smaller. Making the number smaller means moving it to the left. And I have to move it to the left 3 times. So if I take this and I move it to the left 3 times, because I'm making the number smaller, right now, if I just look at the whole number, it's 24. If I move it one place this way, it'd be 240, so that's bigger. I want to make it smaller. So one place. Now my whole number is 2. That's smaller. Another place. Now my whole number is 0, because I would have 0 there, because I have to put a number there. Otherwise, I'm not moving it 3 places, and 3 places. So I would have 0.02406. A lot of numbers behind the decimal point, but it's simply moving the decimal point. That is all you're doing. Figure out if you're multiplying or dividing. Look at your chart. And what you're multiplying and dividing by are either going to be tens, hundreds, or thousands. You're going to be multiplying the number that is given in the problem, multiplying or dividing by the number in the problem. Oh, let's go 3,286 and 4/10 grams equals blank kilograms. Now this is weight or mass. The cool thing about the metric system is that it's the same when you're doing capacity, liters and milliliters, when you're doing distance, centimeters, meters, kilometers, millimeters, or when you're doing weight. It's the same process. Customary system, you have all different numbers, it's all cattywampus. But the metric system, it's the same process with every type of measurement that we do. The same process. So now we have grams to kilograms. Which is bigger, grams or kilograms? Grams are not bigger. Kilograms. Because 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. That means the kilogram's bigger. It would take, all right, I have 1 kilogram in this hand, and if I had 1 gram in this hand, my weight would be like this. Kilogram and gram, because this is way heavier. So we're going to obviously start with this number, because we're always starting with the number that's given to us. It will never change. Your answer is always going to have these numbers in it. The only difference is you could have to add zeros. We said kilograms is bigger, so we're going from grams to kilograms, which tells me I have to divide. If I go to my formula chart, and kilograms and grams, what number do they give me? 1,000. And then it's just a matter of moving the decimal point. I want to make the number bigger or smaller? Smaller. Smaller, because I'm dividing. Smaller, because I'm dividing. And I have to move it to the left how many places? 3, because I'm dividing by 1,000. 1, 2, 3. So I went from a whole number of 3,286 to 3. So that did make it smaller. So now my decimal point, I have the numbers stay the same. Do I have to add any zeros to it?
No.
No. And my decimal point's going to move right here. Now think of this. These are prefixes. Kilo, cento, centa, centi, centi, and then milli. And then the regular gram is kind of the one. So if it starts with the prefix kilo, that's kilo equal is a prefix meaning 1,000. Oh, then we go to, it's either going to be gram, meter, or liter. If it's that prefix, it equals 1. If we have centimeter, or, see, we don't do centiliter, so centimeter, that prefix equals 100. If it has milli in front of it, that prefix equals, I'm sorry, no, this one, not 100. Yeah, 100. And this one, sorry, 100. And this is 1,000. What that means is a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. A millimeter is 1,000th of a meter. That means it takes 100 centimeters to equal a meter. It takes 1,000 millimeters to equal a meter. And if that's confusing, that's fine. This is the first time you're looking at it. It's confusing to me too, obviously, since I had trouble figuring out what to write down. Plus, it's early in the morning, I'm tired. Okay? So just, when you're doing that, realize the numbers don't change. When we go bigger to smaller, we multiply. Smaller to bigger, we divide. And you're always dividing by 1,000, 100, 10. And you're always multiplying by 1,000, 100, or 10. And let me see if I can clear this up a little bit, John. Multiplying by 1/100th is the same as dividing by 100. Let's look at it, because I'm getting a lot of crazy looks. And I'll do the actual math on this. Multiplying by 100th is the same as dividing by 100. So let's say I have 5,000 or 52 and 37/100ths. And if I multiply that by 100th, how many numbers are going to be behind my decimal point in the answer?
3.
Or by multiplying it by a 10?
10.
3 is correct. I have 2 numbers here behind my decimal point and 1 number here behind my decimal point. But this is going to be the same as multiplying by 1. So let me change it a little bit. Sorry. We want to multiply by 100th, not by a 10th. Otherwise, it's the same as multiplying by 1. All right, so if I go through here and I go through all of my steps, I've got 7, 3, 2, 5. Do I have to multiply all these zeros through? I can. I'm not going to. I can, but that's not going to change anything. Then I look at how many numbers are behind my decimal point in the answer. Now it's different because I added that extra number behind the decimal point. There are 2 here, and there are 2 here, which means there needs to be a total of 4 behind my decimal point. And if you're not getting this, that's fine. I'm just trying to prove something, and you'll be like, he's right! That's crazy. And let's see, what did I have? 5, 2, 3, 4? Is that right? Was that right? Where did I have 52 and 34 hundredths? And I said it's the same as dividing by 100. I said it's the same as dividing by 100. Well, when I divide, my decimal point goes straight up. Does 100 go into 5? No. Does 100 go into 52? No. Does 100 go into 523? Yes. How many times? 5. And that's 500. Subtract, I get 223. Bring down the 4. Does 100 go into 234? Yes. 2 times. So that goes directly above the 4. Mr. McMurdo, you have a remainder. No, I don't. I don't have a remainder. I do not. I put a 0 here. I bring that down. It goes into that 300. 4. Got another 0. 400. So we got the exact same number. Yes, ma'am.
I get that a 0, but I get that a 0 is a 0, but how does it changes the value of the number? So
No, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this as money. Let's look at this as money. So if we take, let's see, that's $0 and 6 dimes, right? $0 and 6 dimes. What if I take, so I give you 6 dimes. How much is that? 60 cents. But now I'm going to give you 0 pennies. How much is that?
0 cents.
Okay, so what's 60 cents and 0 cents?
60 cents.
60 cents. What if we have the number $326? You have $326. Now, Elizabeth, I'm going to reach in my pocket. I'm going to pull out 0 dimes. How many dimes did I throw at you? 0 tenths. Because a dime is 1/10 of a dollar. But now I'm going to reach into my pocket. Are you ready? And I'm pulling out 0 pennies. How many pennies hit you? 0. And that's still $326. So it didn't change the value. I added 0 tenths, I added 0 hundredths, and I could keep going, reaching in my pocket and throwing 0 at Elizabeth. Well, that's fun. It's not nearly as fun to throw actual dimes and nickels and quarters at her. That'd be way more fun, wouldn't it?
Yes.
At least for me. Boom, shakalaka, peace out. God bless you, love you. Do something kind today. High five your brother or sister, your mom or your dad, your neighbor, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin Beatrice down the road.